Hi, I'm Liz.
And I'm River, and you're listening to
The Book Fairies. Episode 10, guys. What?
I know, I can't believe that we already have 10 episodes. That's like crazy to me.
We're doing awesome. Oh no, you're doing amazing, sweetie. Which is us.
Oh my gosh, I have been procrastinating so bad this month. I had so many books planned to finish. The only one that I finished was The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and I have so many things to say about that book.
Good things or bad things? Let's spill the tea, right? No.
We should have an episode just dedicated to like books that we did not enjoy that were overly hyped, and that was one of them. Yeah.
And pet peeves, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So many pet peeves with that book. I don't know. It was beautifully written, but there were a lot of things wrong with it, in my humble opinion. So, but what about you? How have you been? How's your reading going?
Yeah, I'm currently reading this one, the Het Verborgen Raadsel, which I already talked to you about.
Yeah.
I'm like halfway done, and it's pretty interesting, so I'm curious to like read everything. It's a class, and they're sort of learning about logic and stuff, and so there's a girl missing and they have to find her, and the chapters are set up like 6 weeks left and then 5 weeks left. 2
I
weeks
love
left. So
that. Yeah,
that's really cool. And I also got Squad in the mail.
Yay! I actually grabbed mine just so we could get a little shot of us both holding it up.
Ooh, twinsies! Nice, I love that.
It's so
the
pretty,
y'all. It's so beautiful.
Oh my god, that last picture though. Let's
I
be real.
I just opened a page and said, "Come on, bitches."
Look at this one. Oh no, wait, I can't show you.
No, I haven't read it yet. No.
Okay, I can't show you. Never mind.
But it's so beautiful, dude.
I know. It's so pretty.
I can already tell I could like read this over and over just because the artwork is so pretty.
Yeah, and the thing is that it's a fast read too, so it doesn't take very long to get through it. It's maybe like at most an hour or two. But I got through it like super quick. I was supposed to take a nap, and then I ended up reading all of this.
Story of our lives, right?
Right.
I'm trying to find this page that you showed last time too, which said squad goals.
Yeah, on the chapters, they're so cool. Like it's like
they're awesome.
They're like tombstones and blood splatter, and it's just awesome. Yeah. I can't wait.
It's like such a good time. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, your hair looks so cute. We both have short hair now, kind of. Like my hair's a little bit. Yeah. Mine's a little bit like crazy. Yeah.
I just got it today. It was supposed to be a mullet, sort of, a little bit, but I guess I failed miserably. Miserably. Oh fuck! I fucked it up again.
No, it's okay. You got it though. Let's hear you say it one more time. I'm dying.
Miserably.
Yeah, there we go. Yay!
Got it.
You did a good job though.
So much.
It's so gross. Every time I hear my laugh, I'm like, ugh. Who is that?
I think that's how everybody views their own laugh. But your laugh is like music to my ears.
Oh, well, you're probably the only one. No. So are you reading anything else right now or no?
Oh, yeah, I started your favorite book.
The Savior's Champion.
Yeah. I'm in the first chapter right now, and I really loved how it's written, like the prequel. The preview thingy.
Yeah.
Because it sort of looked like this movie, because you change paths so many times, like from different people, so you kind of like flow around the thing that's happening.
Yeah.
Or at least that's how it felt for me.
No, when I read that too, it was similar. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious about it.
And that sucks you in right away, even though it's not really. I mean, it's talked about in the book, but it just sets up that tone of what the book is going to be about. And it's so cool that you're reading that one. I'm rereading, because I just got this back from Andrew's mom. I'm rereading The Savior's Sister, which is from the Savior's perspective. And I love this so much. I can't wait to dig into it again.
Oh, so is it like the same story?
Kind of. Yeah,
it's different versions.
Basically, it's the same story, but it's from the Savior's perspective. I'm not going to give away the name because you don't know who that is yet.
No.
And there's more to it than just like the same things that happened. Like from their perspective, there's a lot of different stuff going on, and you also see their background and why they do some of the things that they do, and it's just really interesting. Like I feel like Jenna Moreci did such a good job, because the Savior's champion is in Tobias's view, and he's just such a cool character. I love him. I love that he's flawed. I love that he's very like human, and then you have the Savior's tone, which is like they're just like a whole different breed of a person, and I love it.
Also,
yeah, I could swoon over those.
I'm
forever.
so curious now.
Yeah.
So I talked to Zach, and they're reading the Married to Witch in the Sea, which is so exciting because, like, they said that they're gonna listen to our episode after finishing the book. I thought that was so cool. Yeah,
that's so cute. Like Zach is such a precious person. They're an individual that we interact with on Twitter, and
they're like one of the kindest people ever. It's crazy. Yeah. But I love that. I love interacting with people that have listened to us, or just like friends that go like, "Hey, I listened to this episode." It just like warms your heart up. Like, I don't know. I just love that so much. Yeah. It sort of makes it more real.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. Because we don't have like super high hopes for what this podcast is going to be. Like mostly we're doing it because we love reading and we like talking to each other about the books that we're reading. But, we do hope to, go somewhere with it. And yeah, so if you like us, follow us.
Please send thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's open this main event and talk about your book. Because we all really want to hear about it.
I'm so nervous.
Don't be. It's exciting, right?
Yeah, so yeah, a little bit. Like I think I'm more nervous than excited. Like I woke up today like, how do I even start? And I don't know. I mean, like obviously I love what I'm working on, and I hope other people do too, but as a writer, I think every author goes through the moments where they just feel kind of insecure or worried about how other people are going to perceive their baby. So that's kind of what I was having.
I can understand that, yeah. Especially like with the negative reviews and stuff, you don't want that.
I anticipate negative reviews because my book has a lot of like taboo subjects and controversial things, and one of the main things is I'm a white author and my main character is a person of color. So yeah, Liz asked me to talk about my book last night on the podcast, and so we're gonna do that, and
yes.
Yeah. So I think I should start off with that. So my main character, her name is Nia Graves. Nia Greaves. The way it's spelled is kind of, you could go either or. Yeah, it's Graves. Yeah, exactly. So, like her name kind of gives away sort of the tone of the book. It's very, I would say, like morose eerie and kind of like the colors and the tones that I try to set up in it is very misty, foggy, green, a lot of like eerie tones.
Do you still in the have beginning that town walk in the beginning?
Yeah, a little bit, but I changed it. So initially I had it that Nia didn't have any friends in the beginning because I wanted it to just kind of dive right into the story. But what I realized later on is that, sometimes you need a character to help, showcase your character or bring out certain attributes of your character.
Yeah.
And because Nia is a character of color, I want to be able to like show that she's not the only one. Like she's not the only character in my book of color. So like I have a lot of side characters or random characters that come in, and they're all ethnicities and all, I definitely want that to be a feel. And the other thing about my book that I've been really trying to make sure I hit is that every character that comes in, there's a description of what they look like. Doesn't matter what, like white, Hispanic, black, it doesn't matter. Like, I just want to make sure that I put that description in because I don't want it to feel like one character gets more than the other. I want to make it feel very balanced. But yeah, so essentially what it is, it's about this girl who, she lives with her dad. She goes to college. She works at a coffee shop. And then one day things just get turned around. And these characters come out of essentially the shadows and reveal to her that they've been watching her for a really long time, basically protecting her from these evil things that are trying to basically take her life away. And they've been hiding her for a long time, so that way those people those creatures wouldn't find her. But then during that walk home, it kind of all falls apart. And those bad guys know that she's alive and that, she's being helped by these 4 or 3 characters. So there's Nia, who is the main character. And then there are 3 other characters that I would consider main characters, but Nia is like the foremost. So Nia is 22. And then we have Vera, who is a white 25-year-old girl who is a tattooer.
I didn't know that yet. I just knew that she was a vampire.
Yeah, so she is a vampire. Not like the way she's made into a vampire is very different. I can't wait to dive into that, but you actually won't find out how until book 2, which the beginning of that book will be all about Vera and her background.
You're gonna do like a book per person, right?
Yeah,
per
exactly.
Character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean the story, the overarching story, will still continue into the other books, but I want to give background. I want to give each character their credit. There's so much about these characters that I love, and they just deserve their story to be told because it's not just about Nia. Nia's a great character, and she's very strong, but Nia wouldn't be anything without these other characters kind of holding her up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So Vera is one of those that all of my beta readers love her to death. Like she's like the cool one, right? So she rides a motorcycle. She's covered in tattoos. She's got crazy white, purple, blue hair.
Clouds, hair.
Yeah. They often describe it as like a storm, like the stormy sky. And she's just kind of, rough around the edges.
Everyone loves a bad girl, right?
Yeah, and she is. She is definitely she's a bad girl. And then we have Nathan, who he's a demon, but he wasn't always a demon. He was human at one point, and he was a general in the army during the 40s, and he was killed in battle. He's kind of a hard one to describe because he's like sort of the glue that keeps all of the characters together. He's sort of the reason why the journey begins. He wants things to be different. He doesn't understand why there's this disconnect between good and evil, and his life has a lot to do with that. How he dies and what happens after his death. I feel like he was dealt a bad hand, and he realizes that. And so because of that, and because of, the situation that Nia is in, he feels really bad and he wants to help. And so he meets Vera, and Vera gets on board, and then he meets Asher, which is my favorite character. Oh, I love Asher. So Asher is an Indian boy. I would say he's young. He's like he just turned 20. Kind of. But he's Ghost. So he's
very sassy and
he's funny.
I forgot the name. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah, he's super sassy. He's very gay. And
is he?
He's a little, you know. And it kind of shows, like, with the way that he interacts with the characters. He's sort of the comic relief without. I mean, there's still some seriousness about him, and he's not just all fun and games, but he's that character that just, like, lights up a room, you know, literally, because he glows. So, I love that. Yeah, he's probably, you know, it's so interesting too, because when I started writing the book, there was only 3 characters. There was Nia, there was Vera, and there was Nathan, and that was it. And then when I started writing, I was like, oh, like this little character started kind of popping up in the back of my head, and it was like it was like a shadow of a person, you know, kind of creeping into the story, and then you know,
just sort of floating in, if you will.
Yeah. So Nia actually has a dog, which is a husky. It's a beautiful white husky, and Asher is attached to that dog. And by attached, I mean he has to haunt something to stay on Earth, because if he isn't attached to something, then he won't be able to stay on Earth. He'll, like, end up going into purgatory or hell, that kind of thing.
I was going to say purgatory, but then I was like, oh, that sounds really, like, serious.
No, it is, and that's the other thing. So, like, my book, the first book, you are in hell a very large portion of the time. They're all in hell, and there's some you're going and swinging, like, chaos immediately. Yeah, exactly. So there's one of my favorite parts is they're trying to figure out how to get to hell, because Nia is a human, and so she can't just go to hell like some of the other characters. Like, for example, Nathan can just go, you know, he can just, like, just be there.
Yes, if you pass,
yeah, exactly.
A member's pass, because he's a demon.
Yeah. And he's really good friends with Lucifer, aka Satan. So, like, he's in with all of them. He's good. He knows like everyone in hell, and he's just, like, seen as, like, a cool dude, you know, that people want to, or the demons want to hang out with, and they see him as I wouldn't call it the president, but he's up there in rank. So Vera and Nia have to go to hell a different way, and they end up getting caught in limbo instead of going all the way to hell. And limbo was so fun for me to write. Like, it's just like, because it can be anything, right? So I think I kind of, like, stole the idea. I don't want to say stole, but
you got inspired?
I was very inspired by Jack Sparrow when he's in limbo. Ooh. Do you remember that? Where it's, like, sandy, and there's, like, things
with all the
random,
with the ship, with all the crabs.
Yeah. So it's kind of like that.
Of course I know, dude.
Yeah.
What are you asking?
Oh man, it's just so good. But yeah, so another factor in my book is there's these things called web weavers, and what they do is they essentially weave webs on Earth that are, you know, people pass through them or they get caught with them, and it's sort of part of their fate. And then you find out later on that these web weavers are all throughout limbo. Nia and Vera have to kind of go through them to get to hell. And one of my favorite moments is they actually meet the fates, who are the ones that, like, create these little web weavers, which are spiders. They're little white spiders that go around and they create these webs, and it's because of the fates that they do that. And it's just like, it was like one of those things that just kind of came together, and I felt so good about it. I was like, wow, I'm so fucking smart. Like, I'm such a good author.
Give me a pat on the back.
I know. I was like, I think after I wrote that scene, I was like, man, I really have something here. And because I wrote the fates in, I was like, well, now I have to write Hades in there. So there's a lot of characters that people will recognize from, like, different parts of history or different parts of, like, mythology. And, you know, they're little I guess, Easter eggs that I hope people can find throughout it. But yeah, that's essentially what my book is about.
A lot happens in your book.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just cool what you come up with and how you like piece everything together. And I'm just so excited to be here on the ride with you, because I really love hearing about it. And when you're writing and you're asking me like, is this okay? Is that okay? I'm just like, oh, I'm just happy to be here in the process.
Yeah, it's so nice to have you to be able to like tell me like when things don't feel right. You know, when you and Marius kind of read the first draft of like my, I don't know, like chapter 1 and 2 or something. You guys gave me such amazing feedback, and actually all of my beta readers gave me amazing feedback. Even the negative feedback was like, okay, I'm going to use this because it will just make me a better writer in the long run, and I know that. So
Yeah.
it is hard as an author to take critique and turn it into a positive thing. I'm not going to say it didn't hurt. There was like a week straight where I was like, I suck as an author and I should just stop writing. But, you know, there's this story inside that needs to be told. So that's why I keep going, because whether or not people enjoy the story, it's important for me to write it because it's in here and I need it to just be out on paper. I need it to be told. So that's what keeps me going. Yeah.
Yeah. And also not everyone will like it, but so many people will. And I think it's just what you were saying. It's important to just enjoy it for yourself, to enjoy writing it, and just have it out. And then if people enjoy it, that's like a sort of like a plus, I guess.
Yeah, I definitely think so. And you know, it's a learning curve. This is my first book. I still have a long way to go before it's actually like physically published. I have to go through a lot of editing. I have to hire sensitivity readers because, you know, I am a white bitch writing a main character that is a person of color, and other characters that are of color. And I want to do the due diligence to make sure that this book is representing each character correctly and not in a negative way.
You want to do them justice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, exactly. And I just want them to feel like any good character, you know, not just because of their color, not just because of their background. I want them to each feel like
a real person.
Like a real person, yeah. And that's really, really important to me. And I think like that really started when I was developing Asher's character, because to me, he's like one of those. He's just such a precious part of my book because he really does offer because it's a pretty eerie, scary, sad book. And so you need those moments of like heartfelt
comic relief.
You know, yeah, but he's also just genuinely nice. And he really cares about the main character, Nia. And you kind of find out more about their relationship too, because, you know, he's been with Nia since she was young. She found Echo because of Asher. Like Asher was kind of the one
dog.
Yeah. So because Echo was the last puppy that survived in her litter, and so Echo kind of helped raise her. You know, because he, you know, it's just the what's the word?
Dynamic?
The companionship that they had.
Oh, yeah.
And so Asher knew that she needed something that wasn't him. Like she needed a person to take care of her. So, you know, Nathan and Asher kind of talked about it. And so they decided that the best way to keep a close eye on her was to have someone in the house.
Inside.
Yeah. So yeah, they did that.
Oh wait, so Asher like sort of lived in the house too?
Yeah. So he actually lived with, I mean, he's able to go wherever he wants, but he mostly has to stay with Echo because they're attached. But I mean, he's not creepy, and Nia and Asher are both gay, so.
Hey, dude, that's spoilers. Mate.
Who cares? If you're listening to this, you want to know about my book. Yes, my main character is gay. She's gay as fuck. You're already gonna hear spoilers if you're listening to this.
Yeah, I was sort of like, I was wondering how many spoilers you wanted to
you know, I'm not gonna spoil everything. I'm not gonna tell you who the love interest is. You know, some things gotta stay a little secret. I think people will understand after the first chapter and they sort of meet the characters, like what will develop, because Nia is not subtle about it at all. If anything, I feel like there are definitely some cues you can tell. So.
Oh yeah, with the couch in the apartment.
Yeah, the
right?
couch and a lot of quickly looking away before, you know, like just stuff like that. Yeah. But yeah, I'm really excited about that, and I love. That was not something that when I first started writing this book that I thought would happen. I didn't know Nia well enough. I knew what I wanted the story to be about, but I didn't know my main character very well when I first started. And that was hard for me because, you know, usually when you start writing a book, you know the main character super well. But I didn't. I knew the side characters really well. And so through the process of writing and developing her character, like, man, she like slapped me like a ton of bricks. And she's probably one of the coolest characters that I've ever written. I mean, I love all of my characters, but as in terms of a main character, I really hope that people enjoy her because she's different. She's a very different kind of character, and she's very strong. And I just feel like that she deserves to be seen and recognized as a really amazing main character. So
nice.
Yeah.
I think what you said with the character, getting to know them, I think that happens a lot while you're writing. Like, at least I experienced that with my short stories. I just get to know them while I'm writing the story.
Yeah, that happens a lot. I mean, you know, depending on what kind of writer you are, if you're a plotter or a pantser, I'm sort of in the middle.
What, plotter or pantser? What?
Yeah,
what
so so a plotter is someone that, you know, makes an outline of the book before they even start writing at all. It's like, okay,
and the other one is just going with the flow.
Yeah, basically, they might just like plot a little bit and then go with the initial word and do their own thing. I'm definitely a mix.
Sorry, go ahead.
You're a pantser.
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of writers are, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. The only reason why I like to plot is because there's a lot of things that intertwine in my book, and I need to make sure that they align. So, for example, timelines are very important in my book because certain things, for example, Nia's age and Vera's age are very close, but Vera died in 1999. So like she's like, that's where her timeline ended. So she's very old at this point. Same for Nathan, you know, he died in the 40s. So he has a lot of experience. Like, he's been around the block. Like, he's been in hell for a very, very long time. All of that you have to take into consideration, and then also like when they meet and how they meet, and all of that. So a lot of notes.
Asher especially, he's like the oldest.
Yeah,
right?
He's the oldest. Yeah. So Asher dies. He dies in 1886, I think. I have the note somewhere, but he dies. I don't want to give that away because that's definitely going to be. I want to use that as a
story.
Yeah, I want to use that as a reader magnet. Let's just say Asher has a little meet cute, and then it goes awry.
Yeah, so you started writing that short story. I don't know if you want to keep it a short story or not, but it was just like really cool. It's in a train, and you told me to listen to this atmospheric train sounds. Yeah. And that really helped with the vibes.
Oh, yeah. That's another thing about me as a writer. Like, sometimes I can listen to, like, music as long as there's no words. But what I really love doing is figuring out what the feel of the scene is. For example, there's a ballroom theme. In hell. And it's like, well, what does that sound like? You know, what is the vibe of a ball in hell?
I'm just thinking... like this big organ, and David Jones just going mad at it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I can't wait for people to meet my character the way I personify Hades, because he's a time.
Is he funny?
He's very charming. When they get to his place, he's kind of like, all right, you guys need to stay, like, just stay the night. You guys have to go to this ball, because what they're doing is they're trying to get to the order, which is there's an order above and there's an order below, essentially heaven and hell. And the order are these sentient beings that kind of keep everything together, and they have a treaty between the two. Nathan knows that if he brings Nia to the order below, that they can change things. So they're going through the underworld and all the parts of the underworld. And so for every character, there's a section. For example, like, you know, Hades rules like all the rivers in the underworld. And so Death actually is the one that ferries them to these areas. And so they're on a boat with Death, and they get to Hades' section, and they're going to ask him, hey, can we go through to get to the next river? Because they have to, you know, go. And Hades will not let them go until they hang out and celebrate with him and go to a ball. So it's kind of like,
no, have some demonic tea with me first and then dance.
Yeah.
Like maybe get on a stripper pole for a little bit, and then maybe you can pass on.
No, for real though, for real. I think, you know, he's one of those characters that, like, my version of Hades will always be the Hades from Hercules, the animated, you know, the Disney animated feature, just because of, like, I don't know, he's just so cool. Oh, I will send you many gifts because he's amazing.
Okay.
But my version of Hades is a little bit less intense. I mean, he's still intense, obviously, he's Hades, but he's more charming than he is angry and aggressive. And then you have, you know, Lucifer, who is very just eerie and scary. You know, and the thing is that neither of them rule hell. It's the order that rules them. So there's a whole other, you know, group of people that are really the ones that are pulling the strings. And these characters are just various characters that rule certain parts of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're sort of the how do you say it in English, the burgemeesters? They're not the koning, but the burgemeester.
Like the mayors?
Yeah, they're the mayor, not the king.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's a perfect description. They all kind of know each other and have opinions about each other, and it's just awesome. I don't know. I've really enjoyed writing that. Like, I didn't anticipate it, but once the fates came in, I was like, oh fuck, I really gotta roll with this, you know. So
I think most the forgetting the words is like getting it's the death of me. Because the moment's passed and then No,
I understand. Again, one day we're gonna do an episode in Dutch, and then I will be the one to fumble and not know the words at all. So
you're still great at Dutch. I'll just say it until you believe it too.
Okay. But yeah, that's essentially my book. You know, I had asked people if they wanted to ask questions, and I don't think anybody really. I can't check on my phone because we're recording, but
oh no.
I don't know if you guys have any more questions about it. Comment below.
We can do. Yeah, exactly. You can comment below. Also, still on Instagram, maybe you can make sort of highlights on it.
Yeah.
Where you answer some stuff. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, I don't anticipate people are going to ask, you know, just because I am aware that it's a book that no one's read, and it's new, and, you know, what do you ask when it comes to that? But what I do want to do is, once I'm done with the reader magnet, which is Asher's beginning story, like how he becomes a ghost, I do want to narrate that. I don't know. If you guys like that narration and you like the tone of it, then you will like my book. So, Liz, thank you so much for letting me talk about my book today. I really was so nervous, and I still don't think I did a very good job at describing it, but my characters are awesome, and if you want, I can send you pictures of each one, and you can just like plop them up when I talk about them if you want. Yeah,
Cool.
they're all really cool. Oh, the last character I didn't tell you guys about is my non-binary character, Seraphel, who is kind of like an angel, but like way more badass.
A bitchy angel.
Yeah, yeah. So Seraphel is basically like a minion of the Order Above, and they're basically in the first book, the main bad guy, if you could call it that. But they're definitely not the only
felt
one.
Like that sort of.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. In a way, Seraphel is definitely like, especially in the first book, a bad guy. But they're just awesome, and I really enjoyed writing them too, and I can't wait for more scenes, especially between Seraphel and Nathan, because they have like this rivalry, and it's really I love it. But anyways,
oh cool,
yeah,
I'm excited.
That was the last.
I'm
that was the last one.
Too. Yeah, no.
Okay. I don't know what else to bring up. I don't want to spoil too many things, because there's a lot of scenes and a lot of things that I really love, but I also want to leave things up to people.
Yeah, it's hard which parts you can talk about, which ones you can't. Yeah.
It's definitely a sapphic book, a lot of queer representation in it. People of color.
Very diverse.
Very, very diverse. And that was one of my main concerns that was my main goal when starting to write this book. I wanted it to be diverse. I wanted it to really capture the characters that I had in my head. And I wanted it to touch on topics that were very taboo. I mean, one of the main things that I didn't realize when I first started writing it, but I do talk a lot about like what is considered evil and what is considered good. Like where is the balance in between that? Like where's the line that's drawn? So there's a lot of those kind of questions that pop up throughout the series.
And I really love your idea of having the book per person, sort of.
Yeah.
And that you're making the books around 300 pages.
Yeah, max probably around 300. I just don't, me as a reader, I like series, and I like, reading some thicker books, but, sometimes there's a lot of padding in them to like reach a goal. And the goal is to have a very thick book. And I'm just not that kind of writer. I'm, the way I like to read is to just get to the point. And I think that's really why one of my favorite books is Jenna Moressi's. Even though it's a very thick book, each scene is very much a necessary scene. And I don't feel like there's a lot of fluff in there. And I don't want to have a lot of fluff in my book. So I'm probably going to keep it 300 pages max, probably.
I think that's like perfect amount.
Yeah.
At least for me as a reader too, like I gravitate more towards books that are 200 to 300 pages rather than 600 or something, because I would just get overwhelmed, I guess.
A lot of people do. Yeah, I think that's another thing too, is that it's very common in the fantasy. My book is more paranormal fantasy than it is fantasy, but in fantasy genres, the word count and the page number is very high. And I just don't really want to put myself in that category. I also don't want to push myself just to meet those goals. I want to set myself kind of apart from other writers and do things differently.
Do what feels best for you.
Yeah, they say when you're marketing, especially as an indie author, that you should follow trends. But some trends, to me, are becoming so they all just sound the same. Like I have this right here. That I got my stepdaughter Ashlyn. It's Shadow and Bone. There's a Netflix show of it. I'm sure people have heard, but that kind of a title. But now it's like The Crown of Blood and Ash, or The Sword of Bone and Sparrow, The Raven and the Moon and the sea.
In the sky, what I mean? And the coffin that floats on the water, where Jack Sparrow goes out of banging and goes rowing with his bone leg that he got from his dead friend in the coffin. Yeah, those are the titles that are...
Yeah. And I like, some of them sound very clever, but there's so many that they just get drowned, in my opinion. I'm like, okay, I've heard so many of them now that they just don't... Yeah.
People on book Twitter are just like, I'm reading like 50 single letters, and they're expecting everyone to know exactly what book it is.
I don't know if it's my neurodivergent brain, but it just breaks when people do that. I'm like,
yeah.
Okay.
What
are you? What are you reading? I mean, I don't remember anybody ever saying, "Oh, I'm reading HP for Harry Potter." Like, I don't remember people doing that.
Yeah, but Harry Potter's sort of like short.
But not only that, like, and that's kind of what I want. Like, I'm still struggling on my title. Like I said before, I wanted to call I was either going with Shadow or Demons, and I was more leaning towards Demons. But like you said, it doesn't really give a lot about what the story is about. So yeah, I'm struggling, but I definitely do not want to do and I did it with a short story. I was like The Mask of Blood and Bone or something like that. And
yeah,
I mean, that's as close as I'll go to that area. And that was my only attempt at it because I hated myself. I was like, oh, you're such a fucking sellout, Melanie. Again, like, they'll tell you as an indie author that, like, you know, following trends is good. But I'm going to tell you, as someone that, like, you know, looks for books and stuff, it's very difficult for me to go, oh, that sounds good. Because usually it's like, well, how is that different than the Blood and Ash thing? What's different about it, you know? And that's my own opinion. You know, the other thing I have is I really want to make sure that my cover design is different as well. So I'm hoping to work with this illustrator I've been talking to, so she can illustrate for me. I want to put her artwork up too. I'll give you her thing. She's incredible. Okay. But yeah, that's my book. Thanks for listening.
Your tattoos look so cool. Like, you were just like,
oh yeah.
Like, what?
I know,
because they're colored now.
I know. I've got Fizzgig on my boobie.
Nice. That's what we want. We all want from life.
You know what? Another thing is, like, I feel like I love The Dark Crystal. I don't know if other people do, but I feel like that's another thing that really inspired my book idea, or like various ideas in it, because, you know, the Skeksis and what are they called again? The Mystics. They're like the good and evil version of each other, and they're like one. They were just like those. Yeah, so I think that's another reason why I kind of gravitate towards, like, this idea of, like, what is good and evil, and, like, where is the line, like, what's the gray area, you know?
Interesting.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, interesting stuff you're
I know. I'm like done. I'm done. I'm like, let's talk about anything else besides my shit now.
You want to hear about my short story that I'm writing?
Yes, I do.
I don't know. Like, the story is sort of has potential for me to make it a little bit bigger than a short story. So I was thinking maybe I could do a couple of chapters, because I don't know if I can make it a whole ass book or something, but like a short thing with a couple of chapters.
Yeah.
I changed it around a lot, because that's the one that has to be in the 80s and has a payphone.
Yep.
It's still in the 80s, still has a payphone, but now the main character was supposed to be punk, but now they're goth, I guess.
Because I love it.
The goth scene is more, how do you say, high up, I guess, in the
popular,
80s. Yeah. Because punk is dying down a little bit in that era. If I read on it correctly.
I think Hexander is going to be super proud of you.
If I say it correctly, then maybe. But I could be wrong, I don't know. So it's two friends, and they're both goth. And they have this friend who is an artist, and he has this art show coming up. And so they're gonna help him move his paintings to the art gallery. He still hasn't put them all together because he's fucking nervous. So they're gonna help him, and the friend, the art dude, made some cookies, and she was like, fuck yeah, cookies! And she is like scrambling in the kitchen, like opening all the doors and stuff, looking for the cookies, and he's like, they're in my living room, dumbass. And so she's going there, and then the main character, Susie, and oh damn, I forgot his name, the art dude, they're talking, and then she looks at this painting of his, and suddenly it starts moving, and she's like, what the fuck? And like, it's this winter sort of landscapey thingy of a house, and she gets really cold and stuff, and she's like, what? And she looks at the two friends, and they're both like, what's going on with you? There's nothing happening and stuff. And so I kind of want to get the ball rolling with that.
Yeah.
So I think I want her to eventually get into the painting at some point.
Like go into it?
Yeah.
Whoa.
But essentially, like, the painting is sort of haunted.
Oh,
and
I love
she's the only one that notices.
I love that idea. I always love a good haunted painting story. Oh my gosh. I'm excited.
Yeah, I really hope I can get inspiration to write it.
Yeah, it's always hard, especially with like short stories. But it would be cool if you were able to extend it, because then you're not like on a word constriction. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I sort of set it up, and I think I'm already at like 800 words or something. I don't know. I can't put it in a short story because it's only just begun. So
yeah, I
I'm
understand.
just gonna see where it goes, how long it gets.
I'm excited for that. Yeah, just don't limit yourself at all. I definitely am still thinking about that challenge, and I already know what I want to do with it. I just haven't written it yet because I've been so into like true crime lately that I'm like, I need to make this a true crime story, and I want there to be like a murder that happens in a payphone, like one of those like,
the English ones.
Yeah, exactly. And then my main character will be a detective that like kind of is patronized by the murderer, and every time he passes a payphone he gets like a call from the murderer, and like
nice.
It's sort of like it's gonna happen again, like he alludes to like, I'm gonna murder again, you better catch me beforehand. So I'm really excited to write that. Yeah, exactly. But I'm like, I'm not very smart, so I'm like, how am I supposed to write like a detective and a murderer? Like, I don't know.
Hey, it's fiction, so
I know. But when you're the writer and you have a character that's like, make me really intelligent, I'm like, you're not working with the person,
You had to pick another writer, dude. Like,
yeah.
I'm not smart at all. What do you want from me?
No, it's for sure like that. I mean, like, I'll try, but like, I don't know, man. Some writers are just so fucking smart, and in the way that they like plan things and like, uncover these situations, or even the way they write, just like their prose are just like beautiful. I don't have that. I have to like go back and be like, why did I use run 5 times? What is another word for run? Like
walking very fast paced.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can use a million other pros, but I'm just like, she ran, he ran, they ran.
Do you know how often I look up words with synonym afterward?
I do. The thesaurus.
Yeah, the Taurus.
The thesaurus. Oh my god, we're gonna get some people.
Maybe I got it wrong.
I don't know. Anyways, I use that and Google a lot. I Google things all the time.
I also use Google Translate a lot. Like, Dutch to English. What's this word?
Yeah, I kind of love that though. Like, the other thing is sometimes the words are really wrong.
And then you're looking it up, and then it's correct. You're like, what the fuck? How?
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to say really quickly, like, I don't know if that's okay. I found this book. It's called Dreadlocks and Lipstick, so Dreadlocks and Lipstick. I really wanted to read this as a teenager, and I was looking for it at a library so often. And I never got to read it, and now I found it at the thrift store, and so I was like, okay, I really gotta read this now.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Maybe it's a super shit book, I don't know, but I always loved the cover.
I love that. The book cover is so cute. But yeah, we are at our hour mark, so
yeah, we gotta wrap it up.
Yeah, thank you so much for talking about.
Book.
You need another co-host. Sorry. I am not as funny as you. Oftentimes... No, for real,
No, you need another co-host. I'm so shit.
No.
I'm
obsessed with you. Stay with me on this.
Stay.
All right.
Stay.
Oh my gosh. Have you watched the new season of What We Do in the Shadows?
Oh no, I haven't. I've only seen the first episode, I think, where they're fighting for the throne. I don't know if that's the new season.
Oh yeah, no, it is. It is. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good.
Okay.
Please, if you guys have not watched What We Do in the Shadows, please go watch it. It is amazing.
Watch it. Watch it. Also, while we're at it, you also gotta go watch The Great, because that show is like magnificent.
What is it called? The Grave?
The Great.
The Great.
You did an artwork thing for that, dude. You know that one.
Oh,
It's,
The Great!
with Catherine.
Yeah, sorry, you're a very adorable accent. I was like,
Oh, sorry.
no, it's okay. The Great. Oh my gosh, I binged the second season like in a day. I could not stop watching it. That show is amazing. It's amazing. I have to do another artwork for it, but I think I'm gonna do it like, I don't know what I'm gonna do this time, but yeah. Oh, they're amazing.
It's so.
Their writing
awesome.
is just.
It's immaculate, dude.
Yeah.
It's so, yeah.
Oh my god.
You just don't know what's happening, like what's gonna happen in the next episode or the next 10 minutes. You just don't know.
I love that like their relationship is so like cutthroat but also like so passionate. I love it.
It's definitely a roller and coast.
A roller coaster, yeah, a roller coaster. I thought that was so interesting seeing all of the like science. I interrupt you. Sorry. Actually, this month I've realized that I do interrupt people all the time in conversation.
I feel like I always interrupt you though.
I think, well, you know what? No, it's me. It's because of my autism. But yeah, you know, when you have a judge,
then you got a matching pair here. So we still don't know.
Yeah, yes. No. I've had so many people. I think
it's because our brains here. See, like I did it now. It's because our brains like we render things more late. How do you say?
You register things
later on, yeah, and you have to process it, and then you can reply. So when you're done to reply or ready to reply, then people are already moving on, and you're just like, I gotta say this, and then you're saying it, and yeah, it's the timing is always like fucked up.
I'm the worst with it, so yeah, I agree. But thank you guys so much for listening to us babble. Yes. Thank you for listening to me talk about my book very poorly. Thank Lizzie.
You're great.
For talking about their short story that we hope to hear at some point and read. If you guys want to send us an email with like a book that you're working on or any topics you would like for us to talk about, let us know. We do have a Gmail account that you can message us on.
Yes, we do.
The bookfairiespod@gmail.com.
You are correct.
Okay.
And we have an Instagram, which is the Book Fairy Spot, and Twitter is Book Fairy Spot. You can add us on there.
Yeah, we're pretty fun. Yeah. We post things sometimes.
I guess so.
We try to be as
fun.
We try to be very active, but life gets in the way. So we'll see.
Oh, tell us what book you're reading currently.
Yeah. Let us know what you are, or what you're reading in December. What your December books look like. All right. I love you, Liz. Thank you so much for podcasting with me.
Yeah, thank you so much too. You're always such a delight.
I love having you as a co-host. It's like a dream. You're the best. And on that note, thank you guys.
Dreams come true. La la la. I can't sing.
You can sing.
Yeah, guys, thanks for putting up with us and listening all the way through. We really appreciate it. Please give us a like if you'd like, and then we will see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.